This is a PodCo original.
This is a call to action. We know you love to follow us, so just hit that follow button right there. That's your call to action. Hit the follow button. I want to hear what your experience was coming into our Full House family.
I felt like the cousin that you don't see very often because you guys were a family. So I meet this kid and I look at him and I'm thinking, if I ever had a kid, that's my kid. Like, just because I thought we really genuinely looked alike.
Right.
So we kind of got familiar with each other a little bit before we went in. We go in, Jeff's in there. I think that Bob was in the room too. Mm-hmm. We just had fun.
Which I don't even think was named Joey back then. I got to pick my own last name. Did you know that?
Oh, you did?
My character last name?
I love Gladstone.
Yeah, Jeff said,
perfect
I'm
choice.
trying to get a last name for your character. And I said, how about Gladstone? And he laughed. He goes, all right, that sounds good. And that was it.
What was it about Gladstone? Was there a meaning behind it?
You know, I like I always thought it was a funny name. Like, it was almost like, I'm glad that I'm stoned.
Oh my God.
You know?
I want to make a true confession here with you on air here.
Okay.
My biggest life regret is that Jeff Franklin wanted Bob and I to get married.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of Full House Rewind. I'm your host, Dave Coulier. And our guest today is none other than Debra Stipe. She's a very talented actress, and sitcom fans, if she looks familiar, it's because, well, you may have seen her on other shows like Who's the Boss, Head of the Class, and Blossom. She was also in the very funny feature film Father Figures with Owen Wilson, Ed Helms, and Glenn Close. Full House fans, you've seen her as Cindy, that pesky kid Rusty's mom. Here's a pic of Debra when Full House was on the air. Aw, look at that. Aww. Debra, thank you so much for coming on Full House Rewind.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Before we get into all the stuff, we're gonna start off by talking about episode 4 of season 2, also known as It's Not My Job.
Yes.
This episode was directed by Joel Zwick, who I think did like close to 100 Full House episodes.
Yes, he did.
And it first aired on October 28th, 1988. So, Debra, why don't you give us the quick rundown of what this episode's about?
You bet. Jesse disappoints his father when he decides that he no longer wants to remain in the family exterminating business.
Oh, does that pull you in, Full House fans? If that doesn't like just, ooh, you know, I'm here, I'm on iTunes, I'm ready to buy this.
Right?
iTunes is going to love that because I plug iTunes all the time, for crying out loud. Come on, sponsor us. Apple, let's go. Come on.
Let's go.
Throw it in. Now, Debra, we're going to describe what's happening in the episode together. I'm going to start us off, okay?
All right.
Season 2, Episode 4 opens in the living room with Jesse and the Rippers singing a new jingle as Joey tries to join in playing his harmonica.
Danny, DJ, and Stephanie arrive home, and Stephanie tells everyone that she has her first cavity. Jesse, Joey, and Danny try to cheer Stephanie up, but she's not having it.
And then Jesse and the Rippers sing the new jingle as Joey, once again, joins in with his harmonica. I was always trying to get my harmonica in.
I noticed that. Yeah. You crushed it. We cut to the girls where DJ and Kimmy Gibbler are doing homework. Stephanie enters while brushing her teeth with a toothbrush. Kimmy tells her that the only way to get rid of cavities is to drill it away. She makes a drill sound and Stephanie winces. Kimmy, trying to scare Stephanie further, also tells Steph a story about Kathy Santoni and her horrible experience at the dentist.
And Danny enters and reveals Grandma and Grandpa Katsopoulos. Steph and DJ have a hug fest with their grandparents. After Danny exits, Grandpa slips the girls $5 each. My grandpa never did that.
Neither did mine.
Yeah.
We cut to the kitchen where Joey is making dinner. Interesting. Grandma Kostopoulos quickly replaces him and takes control of the dinner preparations. Joey and Danny exit as Grandma and Grandpa play with Michelle. After everyone exits, Grandma slips the girls $5 each.
Yeah, and my grandma never did that either. Man, I'm telling you, I missed out. Jesse enters and announces that he's got great news. He announces to everyone that he sold his first jingle.
We cut to Jesse's room. Jesse confides to his mom that he's finally making money with his music career and that he no longer wants to work for his dad in the family exterminator business. Mom encourages Jesse to tell his dad, but to do it with love.
Of course. It's Full House. You got to do it with love.
Got to do it with love.
Jesse's dad enters and things escalate quickly as Jesse tells his dad that he's quitting the business. Things don't end well as Nick Katsopoulos tells Jesse, if you're out of the family business, you're out of the family.
That's cold. All right.
Crushing.
We cut to Michelle's room where Danny is reading her a bedtime story. Jesse enters and Danny realizes that he's going through a tough time with his dad. They exit to Jesse's room.
Danny tries to enlighten Jesse about his dad and tucks him into bed.
Upstairs in the girls' room, DJ is trying to sleep as Stephanie has a nightmare about the dentist.
Well, the next day at the dentist's office, Stephanie sits in the dentist chair as Joey keeps her company while reading a magazine. Stephanie is afraid, so Joey asks the dentist to step out for a moment so that he can offer Stephanie some words of encouragement. Joey does a cowardly lion impression from The Wizard of Oz and talks about courage. If I were a king of the forest.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, impression. Yeah.
Joey does a bit with the dentist's spit sucker and discovers that Stephanie's courage is located in her mouth. He gives her a dental mirror and explains that Stephanie's courage is in her courage hangy ball.
Courage hangy ball.
Who knew? Steph feels so much better, and the dentist returns.
Well, we cut back to the living room where Jesse plays guitar and sings with Michelle on the couch. Jesse's parents enter, and Jesse and his dad have a heart-to-heart about his career and the family business.
Jesse's father tells Jesse how proud he is about the sacrifices he's made to help Danny and raise the girls.
A little turnaround there. Stephanie and Joey enter the living room, and Steph declares a successful visit to the dentist. She shows the family her new dental work, and that is what happens in this episode titled, It's Not My Job. Deborah, thank you for the help on that.
You are so welcome. That was fun.
I want to just jump right in here. It was fun, isn't it?
It's so fun.
You know, and there's little pictures that played above us, you know,
fun.
showing all those little clips from the show.
That's so fun.
I want to get right into Full House because I don't think I've seen you since Full House, right?
No.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
We go way back.
Do we want to count the years? I don't know if we want to count the years.
Well, I can, yeah, but I'll fall asleep halfway through it.
I know, seriously.
You were on 3 episodes in season 4.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I remember you. I remember very vividly. The first episode was titled Terror in Tannertown.
Oh, yes.
And you played Danny Tanner's new girlfriend.
Yes.
Right? Cindy.
Yes, Cindy.
Yeah, Cindy, right?
Owner of the dry cleaning business. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all those character traits. You got to remember all that stuff.
Martinizing, you know?
Martinizing, did you say?
Oh, yeah.
Was that a process? Was that a Martinizing?
Yeah, what is Martinizing?
It's probably by a guy named, Eddie Martin.
Probably.
And he said, I got this new cleaning process, where I've called it, my name's Martin, so I've called it Martinizing. And what I do is, see, there's a pair of pants. And normally, we all know where the stains are on your pants. Usually, you drop food or whatever, God forbid. And then I developed a process. It's with the chlorine and the bleach. And then I can't tell you the secret ingredient, but I do that. And boy, look at that, Martinizing. I came up with that, boom, light bulb moment. And today we have Martinizing.
Who knew?
So much so that Deborah remembers it.
Exactly.
We're
learning something new.
Martinizing. You see it right there in the dry cleaners every time you drive by. And then, of course, Cindy introduces your son, Rusty, to the family. And he's a horrible kid, right? He's a horrible kid. He's not a nice kid.
Okay. He's the rust, man. There's a reason. You got to know people's story, Dave.
We'll take us through the story.
Okay. I mean, I love this story, honestly, because it's so true, right? Like, unless you know somebody's story, you're quick to judge, which you just were, right? And as is the whole family. But that's what I love about Bob, right? I mean, Danny has this moment at the end of the episode, okay? Obviously, Rusty's done all these practical jokes.
Right, yeah.
Which is the worst? I don't know which is the worst. Maybe the green hair?
What were some of the, remember some of the bits
Some of
that,
the
that we
pranks?
did? What were they?
Okay, so my favorite is like we're all sitting at the table.
Yeah.
And I've got to go to the office. I got to go to the dry cleaners. There's an emergency coming up. And I really want to take Rusty with me because I'm nervous about leaving him, right? But, Bob, Danny convinces me it's fine. Anyways, you're sitting there, you pour the cream, and there's a hole, so the milk goes everywhere. And then the best is honestly when Danny stands up and the entire tablecloth comes with him.
Another sight gag.
Sight gag, but like your beat about the sizzler is gold. I hope we can play it back because that beat was so brilliant on your part.
You know what's great is
Yeah.
Full House fans know way more than I do about the show.
Oh,
They do. They know
Really?
more. They absolutely. They remember
forget
all
this?
these. Well, no, they remember those little details. Like
Oh,
you
I
just
know.
you just rattled off a bunch of details and stuff.
yeah.
I can't remember that, but you
were
can.
funny, Dave. You were funny.
Was I funny?
Oh gosh,
During
yeah.
during
You
the
brought
show?
up the sizzler twice, and it was funny.
Well, speaking of funny, what do you remember about our Full House set? Now, you're coming in and you've already done a ton of stuff, but sometimes it's a little weird, I guess, for an actor to come into a show that's already kind of established and it can be cliquey sometimes
Right.
and there's egos involved. I want to hear what your experience was coming into our Full House family.
Yes, I would say that I felt like the cousin that you don't see very often because you guys were a family.
Yeah.
And so I'm coming on to fit in, but also like I'm not around. So I don't know all the jokes. I don't know all the inside
We
jokes.
had a lot of them.
Oh my gosh. No, that was honestly, Dave, that was the first thing that I noticed is that you guys were cracking each other up on a constant basis.
Yeah.
And I loved you said this on one of the podcasts, that the writers were always sort of looking for the natural chemistry between you guys and seeing like, can we write this in the show? Because you all had such a natural chemistry that it was just so obvious. And so much fun to be around, honestly. So much fun to be around.
Because it's always, because we know how much fun we had and we know that, we were going to be seeing each other more than our family and our real life friends.
Truly.
But, sometimes that little microcosm coming in as a guest star on a show can be sometimes intimidating. I've done it, lots of actors have. And when you walk into an established turf like that, sometimes, you just go, deliver your lines and boom, you're gone.
Yep.
So I'm happy to hear that, it was a pleasant, fun experience for you.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
It was a blast. It was like kind of keeping up with everyone. And you're right. Like as a guest star, you've got, eyes are on you, right? You're the new kid on the block.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, everybody was fantastic. But I was clearly walking into a family that was very established. It was season 4. So everybody was great. Bob was great. Everybody was great.
Was it just kind of a reading that you came in and auditioned for and they chose you?
I had been given the sides,
right.
My agent had set it all up. So I'm there in the waiting area. And there are young boys there as well, of course.
Right.
Potential Rusties.
Rusties, yeah.
And so they're pairing us up. I'm sure you've been in auditions where like they're pairing you up with a potential mother or whatever it is. So anyways.
I was always picked as the mother.
You were picked as a mother.
Always.
Well, I mean,
always. Come on.
Anyways, so I meet this kid and I look at him. Now, I was engaged to be married at the time. I had no children. But I look at this kid and I'm thinking, if I ever had a kid, that's my kid. Like, just because I thought we really genuinely looked alike.
Right.
We did. So we kind of got familiar with each other a little bit before we went in. We go in. Jeff's in there. I think that Bob was in the room too.
Mm-hmm.
We just had fun.
Yeah.
We just had fun. And there was no callback. That was it.
That was it. Like
that
just,
was it.
yeah, okay, you guys, that's it.
That was it.
So that's kind of rare.
I think it is rare.
That's kind of rare.
I know.
Especially that the kid you're going to be doing your scenes with, that you're going to be playing his mom, is the actual kid that you're just there with. And it could have been another kid, right?
I know. It could have been another kid.
You could have been paired up with some other kid.
Yes, like redhead or brunette or, whatever.
But you walked in, nailed it, and did they tell you right there? Like, or did you have to go through the whole thing we all had to go through? You go home, your agent calls, hey, they loved you, you're hired, you start Monday, blah, blah, blah.
Right, blah, blah, blah. Exactly. Right. They did not tell me right away. But I must say, this, like, sometimes you walk out of the room and you think, that was awful. And other times you walk out and think, crushed it. And then you don't get it, right? You just never really know until you get that call.
And then when you think you're awful, they go, oh, they loved you. And you're
Right.
like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing,
I know.
apparently. Well, for Full House, I went in and read
Right.
for Tom Miller, Bob Boyette, and Jeff Franklin. And Pamela Basker and Fern Champion were our casting people, casting directors. And I walked in and did my stuff for the character of Joey.
Right.
And Jeff Franklin knew I was the guy after I read. He was like, and then Tom Miller stopped me on my way out. And Jeff's got his arm around me. He was walking me out. He goes, man, that was unbelievable. It's just great, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, okay. All right.
Right.
So then Tom Miller stops me and goes, wait a second. I'd like you to read for the father. And so I said, I just blew it. That's it. I didn't get this because now they want me to read for the father. I go, okay, give me the pages. Went out for 5 minutes, came back in, read as the father, and they said, okay, thank you. So I thought I blew the Joey role, which I don't even think was named Joey back then. I got to pick my own last name. Did you know that?
Oh, you did?
My character last name?
I love Gladstone.
Yeah, Jeff said,
perfect
I'm
choice.
trying to get a last name for your character. And I said, how about Gladstone? And he laughed. He goes, all right, that sounds good. And that was it.
What was it about Gladstone? Was there a meaning behind it?
I like I always thought it was a funny name. Like it was almost like, I'm glad that I'm stoned.
Oh my God.
It was that.
Okay.
I'm a comedian, so that was what I
works.
thought. And so Jeff laughed and that was it. But I walked out of that first reading thinking I didn't get this. But then, you talk to Jeff and he goes, no, I was angry at Tom Miller when he said, let's have him read for the father, because I was like, I don't care who else walks in here today. That's my Joey. That's my character. So like you said,
so interesting.
you don't know.
You don't know. You don't know.
And then you start and you come back and you're thrown into our Full House world with this kid who's kind of bratty.
It was a blast. I remember getting to know John Stamos a little bit. He's telling me that he was a nerd in high school. And I was like, you were a nerd in high school? I'm having a hard time believing that. Because we both did theater in high school. Years ago, I saw him in Bye Bye Birdie on Broadway.
He was great.
He was great.
Yeah,
I
went and saw him in New York. I actually stayed with him for a few days when he was doing that, and he was great.
He was great.
He was great in Cabaret too. Mm-hmm. He was the conductor in Cabaret.
Was he?
Yeah, he was, and he was amazing. He was really John's a theater guy. He can pull that off. I've never been in a play in my life.
Yeah.
So I would fumble through it. I would be trying to ad lib, and you can't ad lib. It's a play. I'm sorry. So I can't go over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, though, I love the fact that there were kids on the show. There's something about like kids that it makes everybody. You're having to be like sensitive to that younger generation, and I kind of loved that. I think it impacts the whole cast.
It does definitely. Because you're always aware that they're on the set. And me and Saget had to be very aware because we would goof around constantly. Right. And Bob, was triple R sometimes. And so we would just go along on the ride and, doing what comedians do. And so, yes, but our kids were exceptional. They really were exceptional. They were comedians, and they could nail the comedy just so well that it was mind-boggling. Right. Jodie Sweetin was here. You saw her here when you guys were crossing paths to do the show, and she was like a savant at 4 years old. Like could nail lines. She was like Shirley Temple. Could like light up a room. It was crazy.
That's incredible.
So I see what you're saying when you say kids were part of this. And you're a mom. You just mentioned that you're a mom. I've asked other actors, how do you juggle being a mom and keep your career going? Because you've been really, really busy. That's got to be a huge challenge, right? Am I wrong, or is it?
I have kind of an interesting path. I lived here for about 8 years. Mm-hmm. I got married. We had our daughter. And then my husband said, how about moving by family and leaving California?
Where'd you move?
And we moved to Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta.
And so that's where I live.
Oh, okay.
Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Still?
You
still live
live in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And I remember initially I wasn't so on board with the idea. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe this is a new season. Let's do it. So we moved to Atlanta. So we have a daughter. She's now 30. and a son
Oh my
who's 28.
gosh. Wow.
And so there was a season that I was like, okay, maybe I just like had to leave my dreams on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And I remember like stirring this pot of rice on the stove thinking, this is now my world. But you know what? I'm actually really thankful for it because it gave me this season to like be 100% mom. And so I'm the one that's like organizing the arts festival at the school. I'm writing scripts. We created something called teen performing arts group with my kids. And I did a lot of just really hands-on mothering, honestly.
That's awesome, though.
I loved it.
That's awesome.
And then as like time went by, then Atlanta became like this place. So I got an agent in Atlanta, and now it's sort of the Hollywood of the South. I actually love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I have representation here as well, but I kind of I feel like I'm living my sort of my best world because I'm still in the industry, but I also have a quality of life that feels really kind of normal.
Sure, away from Hollywood, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a great comedy club in Atlanta. I think it was called The Punchline maybe, or
Okay.
I can't, but we all played there.
Oh.
You know, everybody came through there, and that was like a blast to play that room because Atlanta audiences were really, really great.
Oh, fun.
Tell me about father figures with Ed Helm and Owen Wilson and Glenn Close. I watched that scene with you and Terry Bradshaw, an NFL legend. You guys were very funny as a couple. How was that?
I remember going to that audition, Lawrence Sher directing. Fantastic. And remember him saying, you actually have a good marriage. Like, keep that in mind. Like, she is a real wife. Yes, she used to be a solid gold dancer, but she's a real wife. This is a real marriage, so give me that. And his real wife probably resembles me a little bit. Terry Bradshaw was fantastic. He's just charismatic.
He's just funny, too.
Hilarious, as
Who
you
would
would
have thought?
imagine.
Who'd have thought an NFL quarterback was just like naturally funny? He was funny.
So funny. And like, he's working the room. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, he's just, it puts me immediately at ease. And he was great. That whole set was great. Ed Helms was awesome. Owen Wilson. Really was a thrill to be part of that.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet.
Yeah.
Those are some big names that you got to work with.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you about Bob Trevino Likes It.
Oh.
Because I was trying to find more about it, but it looked really interesting. Can you tell me what that is?
It is a beautiful film that we don't know quite where it will find its home quite yet. It premiered at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas a couple weeks ago.
I was there. I was
you
there.
were?
I didn't see it, but I was there talking about Full House Rewind there. Yeah. They
that's
added
fantastic.
a podcast panel, and I was part of the podcast panel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
How did it do? Was it received really well?
Oh, yeah. It won the narrative film category. I think it
That's
also won.
Awesome.
It's awesome. I think it also won the audience award, best audience pick award. But yeah, it's a beautiful film. It is Tracy Lehman's story. So it's her personal story. She wrote it. She directed it. Talk about like a culture on a set. I mean, Full House culture was amazing and so much fun. Tracy did an amazing job of like bringing not only a level of professionalism, and she's a perfectionist, but at the same time, like a super collaborative, safe space, very personal story. It has some humor in it, but it is so heartwarming. Like, I went to the premiere thinking, I'm not going to cry. I'm here, you know, there's a red carpet. I'm not going to cry. Just so beautiful. Barbie Ferrer is stunning in it. John Leguizamo, and then French Stewart. It's a great cast. Anyways, I'm so excited for Tracy. You know, you ever work with somebody and you just like, you see their star rising?
Oh, yeah, of course. Absolutely.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, I
with
tried to
Tracy.
find more about it, and I really couldn't. What's next on the radar for you? What do you want to do?
Next on the radar for me.
Yeah. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but you know, we're always kind of thinking, what's next? What do we want to do? You know,
I'm actually writing a very family-friendly feature film, but I'm also actually I do a little bit of public speaking. So I'm speaking to a group of women at the end of April. I love to inspire people, but especially women, to live their best life.
That's awesome.
No matter their age or stage of life.
That's awesome.
And like to really lean into like their giftedness and like what they're good at, and connecting that with a purpose and like living in full bloom. That's kind
great
of,
that you do that.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. You can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell. Can I ask you to come back? Would you come back and do another one of these? Because what I would like to do is your actual episode, come back and, we talk about the scene. We'll go through it. Could you come back?
Absolutely. I would love it. Are you kidding?
And I would
Are
love
you kidding?
that too.
I want to make a true confession here with you on air here.
Okay.
My biggest life regret is that Jeff Franklin wanted Bob and I to get married. They did. Yes. They wanted us to get married on the show, obviously.
Yeah,
And my agents thought that I would get lost.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And so I let them talk me out of it, which I really regret. Because I actually think, can you picture the wedding?
Yeah.
I think that you could have officiated the wedding. I think that Rusty could have been the ring bearer. I think that Michelle could have been the flower girl.
And Rusty does something kooky. Kooky?
Right?
Kooky? Oh, that's like weird and kooky put together. Thank you so much for being here. Can you play a little game? Play a little game?
Of course.
All right. This is a little game called Don't Bug Me in this episode.
Oh, we're talking roaches and cockroaches.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, in this episode,
Maybe.
Jesse quits the family exterminating business. And I'm going to ask you some questions about bugs and see how many you get correct. You know what, though? You're going to win. I already know you're going to win this game.
You're a little buggy. Here we go.
All right, Deborah.
Let's
ready?
go. I'm ready.
Here we go. All right. Question 1. Here we go, folks. Throughout history, which ancient civilization was among the first to fumigate their homes? Was it the Romans, the Druids, or the Greeks? Think about the episode. Think about Jesse Katsopoulos.
I'm thinking the Greeks for the
Ding,
win.
ding, 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 ding. See, you're already winning.
I'm winning. I knew more about bugs than I realized.
Much like Jesse's heritage, it was the Greeks. Okay. All right. Question 2. Here we go, Deborah. You're already on a roll. Here we go. Okay.
Here we go.
All right. They say cockroaches are the most resilient bug. True or false?
I'm going to say true.
Ding, 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 ding. Cockroaches can survive without their heads for weeks. Isn't that crazy and
They can be
weird?
decapitated and survive?
Yes, for weeks. Isn't that
Okay.
gross and weird?
That's really gross and weird.
Weird thing. Yes. Okay. You're on a roll. 2 for 2. Okay, here we go. Told you, you're going to win. All right, question 3. What is the world's most venomous insect? It is a termite, a spider, or an ant. Not an uncle, an ant.
Not to be confused.
There's a clue there.
Okay, I'm going to go with the spider.
There was a clue there, not an uncle.
Oh.
You sure?
I think that it's probably the ant.
The ant, ding, 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 ding. See, you can't lose. It's the
can't
bullet ant from South America. That's right. Most venomous insect.
Really?
Yep. I'm not going to South America now.
Nope.
Just
nope.
blew it. Just blew it for
Off
me.
the list. Off the list.
All right, question 4, 3
Okay.
for 3. See?
Oh,
Told
there's
you.
more. There's more. Okay.
I knew. Yep. Here we go. True or false? You can use a cricket as a thermometer.
Okay. We have something called cicadas in Atlanta. When it's very
I
hot,
know.
they
make
sing.
a loud song.
Very loud.
song. Yes.
So I'm going to
yes.
say that is a yes.
Yes, it is true. Ding, 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 ding. By counting the number of chirps a cricket makes in a minute and adding 40, you can estimate the temperature in Fahrenheit.
Okay, that's so cool. Did you come up with these?
Yeah, I don't know. We have such a huge staff.
Impressive.
I mean, we have a giant staff, so, you know.
Impressive.
Okay, 4 for 4. One more.
Who knew? Okay.
One more, and you can go for the sweep. What is the largest order of insects? Okay. Is it ants, mosquitoes, or beetles? The largest order, like, what would you say? John, Paul, George, and Ringo? Ants, mosquitoes, or beetles?
You know, Dave, I'm thinking beetles.
Ding,
That's
ding,
such a
ding,
large
ding, ding
order.
for the
Yes.
sweep. Deborah Stipe. Okay, yes, it is beetles with over 350,000 recognized species. They can be found in every habitat on Earth, beetles.
Wow.
From forests to deserts to freshwater ecosystems. I told you everyone here at Full House Rewind is a winner, and you get a prize. Here we go. It is a Cut It Out t-shirt. There it is.
I am so excited.
There
I
we
will be
go.
wearing this with pride.
See, everybody's a winner.
Cut it.
There you go. Okay, we
That's
do,
fantastic. I love that.
we
Thank
do
you so
get to
much.
do one more thing before we say goodbye to you, though, because you've been such a lovely guest. Because now It's time for Aw, Cut It Out.
Cut it out.
Every episode of Full House had a heartfelt scene. We have cut out a scene from season 2, episode 4, that we're going to read together, Deborah. You got your script there?
I do.
Okay. I'll be playing the role of Jesse's dad, Nick, and you'll be playing the role of Jesse.
Okay.
Okay. All right, let's cue that touching music. That's right. Oh, there it is. It's the Tom Miller moment music. There it is. Nice. Okay, ready? Jesse and Nick talk in the living room. Here we go. I told you, you really messed up my dream. But you came through on another dream. The one about you growing up to be the kind of man I respect. When your sister died, may she rest in peace. The whole family was devastated. The way you moved in here and you pulled this all together, the sacrifices you made to help Danny raise our granddaughters, that made me really proud.
Thanks, Pop. But I'm a musician, and I want you to be proud of me for that, too. I want you in my corner.
I guess I was a little rough on you. Look, I'm never going to be happy about this music thing, but I'm always going to be in your corner. I'm your old man. And they hug, and the scene ends, and that is a beautiful way to say thank you and goodbye. Debra Stipe, ladies and gentlemen, 5,000 people out there applauding, going crazy. Thank you so much for being here.
This was great fun.
Here's some of my thoughts about season 2, episode 4. There were a lot of moments on Full House where characters make some big life choices. In this episode, Jesse makes a huge choice to leave his father's business and pursue his music career. This was a big decision for our show in that it would change the dynamic, bringing much more of John Stamos' music center stage. It turned out to be a great move as Jesse and the Rippers and John's music would be placed more in the limelight on Full House. In this episode, we get a guest star visit from Irene and Nick Katsopoulos. Irene, played by Yvonne Wilder, appeared on stage in West Side Story and the film in 1961. She was a wonderfully funny, talented actress and just a gem of a human being. Nick was played by John Aprea, a terrific actor who always had a great sense of humor about me, John, and Bob and our shenanigans during the Full House work week. He was also the perfect choice to play Uncle Jesse's father. A lot of adults who were kids when they watched the original run of Full House on ABC will come up to me and say that the hangy ball scene with Stephanie helped them when they were afraid to go to the dentist. I love hearing stories like that. Another small reason why Full House is revered by so many. We'd like to hear your thoughts about Full House. Tell us your favorite episode or just why you love the show so much, or maybe you've even got a question for me. Shoot us a short video and email us the link to that video at socials@podco.us. We close every episode of Full House Rewind by giving all of you who need it a hug. This week, our hug goes out to all of you who are facing some kind of fear. In this episode, Jesse admits that he's afraid to leave his father's family business and pursue his music career. And Stephanie is afraid of going to the dentist. We often hear the saying, face your fears. And that's not always easy to do. I know it, you know it, we all know it. What may seem like something very insignificant to one person may be seemingly unachievable for someone else. Our fears are real. And whether we make them up ourselves or they manifest themselves through other means, they're real. Either way, being afraid just flat out sucks. So, for all of you who are having a tough time facing your fears, this Full House hug goes out to you. Come on, bring it in. Here we go. That away. All right. Well, that's our show. We'd like to thank our special guest, Debra Stipe, for stopping by. Join us next time here on Full House Rewind, and you can watch all of our episodes on our Full House Rewind YouTube channel. So long, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Full House Rewind. We'll see you next week.